Hey everybody, in this training video, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 biggest mistakes made by most private practice owners, and the third one might actually make you a little uncomfortable. The first mistake made by most private practice owners is simply blindly copying competitors. Now, as a practice owner, chances are that at some point you've worked for another clinic before you decided to start your own practice. The truth is we are not taught marketing in school. So our only fundamental basis of marketing is what our competitors did or what our former employers did. Well, the truth is the very nature of marketing has actually changed recently in what I call the Obamacare economy. Don't make the same mistake of marketing to patients the same way you did or the same way your competitors did a few months ago or a few years ago. Times have changed now. Patients are overwhelmed. Patients have more access to technology. Patients now understand that they have choices. And all of this makes it important for you to market in a new and innovative and effective and diverse way, a multifaceted way. So you're not just dependent on either email, you're not dependent on phone calls, you're not dependent on the Valpak advertising, you're not dependent on advertising in your newspapers. There are new, effective, innovative ways, and if you're strategic about them, and if you invest a little bit of time and effort in different ways, you'll be able to maximize and diversify your opportunities for attracting new patients. One of the, related to copying competitors, I see a lot of private practice owners spend a lot of time and energy building websites. Well, I'm a fan of, good websites, but it doesn't make sense to build a fancy website if you don't have fundamental things in place, like mechanisms to attract more patients by getting referrals, mechanisms to get more patients from your existing physicians. If you don't have all the email addresses of your patients, so you're sending them an emailed newsletter. If you're engaging your patients through regular events in your clinic, all of those things that are in the trenches matter a lot more than just having a fancy website. I think having a nice website is important, but it should be number 8 or 9 or 10 in your list. You should definitely have some sort of an online presence, but having a website, focusing on reviews, all of that becomes important when other things are in place. I mean, if you're in a small town and not a lot of your patients even go online, if most of your patients are senior, they just happen to hear about you because their friends told them, a website is not as important. If you're a physical therapist in Manhattan and all of your patients check you out on your website, they check out all your reviews before they decide to come to you, then a website becomes important. Every situation is different. Don't make the mistake of assuming you should do exactly what your competitors do. Don't make the mistake of allowing vendors or allowing other individuals to tell you what you should be doing. You are the best judge of what you should be doing. You are the best judge of what's best for your practice. So try and give it some thought and come up with the answer to the fundamental question: how do I reach patients? How do I communicate with patients? Show them what we have to offer so that we can attract them. Don't just copy your competitors. That's number 1. Number 2. So like I said, the first mistake was copying your competitors. The second mistake is essentially offering the same old thing. You're just another provider if all you're offering is just physical therapy or just speech therapy or just the service that you have. Try and specialize. Try and create some sort of a thing that you're known for. Create something that makes patients say, you know what, these are the only guys that do that, I'm going to them. Become known for something. Become known as the person or the clinic that provides X, whether it's pre and postnatal care, whether you're specializing in the geriatric population, whether you're specializing in low back pain, shoulder, hand. It doesn't matter. What matters is you've got to specialize something and be known in something, and obviously that lies at the intersection of what you want to offer, what patients want, more importantly, what your core interest is, and what you're comfortable delivering. The intersection of those 3 circles is what you should be offering. But the key is, don't offer the same service, offer something that's new, something that's innovative, something that's somewhat of, that makes you an expert in a particular area. And then that is what you will get known for. Don't make the mistake of being like everyone else, because that's going to put you on the defensive, where you're going to need to market aggressively, you're going to need to market harder to attract the same patient who now has multiple choices. I mean, when you think of fast food, when you think of burgers, there's Wendy's, there's McDonald's, there's Burger King. But a lot of, there's a lot of talk about a new franchise these days called Five Guys and a Burger. I don't know if that's a franchise that's available in your area where you're watching this video, but a lot of people just want the burgers from Five Guys and a Burger because they're more authentic. The type of meat they use is far superior. The experience when you go into that exact restaurant, if you want to call it a restaurant, is different from what you get at a McDonald's or a Wendy's or a Burger King. There was a time when people would say you're crazy to get into the hamburger space because there are big global players. But you know what? A small company which is now growing rapidly has actually managed to make an impact in the burger space by offering the same thing and a more unique experience, an experience that you could probably relate to faster is Starbucks. Starbucks took coffee, which you can get at a 7-Eleven, at a Quick Check, at a Wawa, and Starbucks took that coffee and made it an experience. So people are paying 2 times, 3 times, 4 times as much for coffee. So think about how you can set yourself apart by offering patients not only a better service, but perhaps a better experience, so that every single experience they have before they come into your clinic, when they're in your clinic, I call it the during, and after they've been discharged from your clinic, and I call that the referral rebounder pathway. We've done that, we've discussed that in previous training videos, and we discussed patient metric maximization as well. So I've talked about 2 of the 3 mistakes so far. Number 1 is copying competitors. Number 2 is offering the same service. And number 3, like I said, this is the one that might actually make a few people uncomfortable. The third and the most common reason, and the most, I would say the biggest mistake that I see private practice owners make, is not effectively motivating other staff members. Leadership as a business owner is an important part of success. In fact, one of the things that Sir Richard Branson, who's the owner of Virgin Atlantic and the whole Virgin group of companies, says is, one of the reasons I'm so successful is because I hire people who do things better than me, certain things better than me, and I get out of their way. As private practice owners, it's crucial to understand that you should be focusing on the high lifetime value activities. You should be focusing on hiring, motivation and leadership. You should be focusing on financial management, strategic decisions about which marketing company you want to work with, which EMR company you want to work with, who should your billing company be, how should you plan for the future, how do you make sure that you can retire in the next 5 or 6 years. Those are the high lifetime value activities. As a business owner, you shouldn't be answering phone calls. You shouldn't be sending faxes. You shouldn't be buying supplies. You shouldn't be, installing software on your computer. You shouldn't be picking up the phone and soliciting physicians. All of those things can be done better than you by someone else, and can be done at a price, at an hourly wage that is not only effective, but that is also, that also creates jobs, and that also feeds families, that also, allows us to grow as a nation, as a community. So looking at this sort of from a broader sense, finding the right staff members, number 1. Number 2, having the right people in the right roles. And number 3, the most important thing, effectively motivating people so that they do what they're supposed to do way better than them. In fact, my good friend Anthony, who's actually filming this, who's behind the camera right now, is phenomenal at filming videos, at editing. And if I did that, I couldn't do that to save my life. Right, Anthony? Yes. So, there are individuals who do things better than you, You do what you do best. In my case, I'm good at getting in front of the camera, delivering content, delivering value, and creating awareness about what we do, about what you should do. And if you decide to take advantage of our products and services as a result of all this, hopefully what you consider valuable information that I'm sending out, then, we welcome that. So you as a business owner need to do what you do best. Each one of us has our own, and this is a phrase that's used by someone that I admire very much. His name is Dan Sullivan. He's a business and entrepreneurship. He's a thought leader. He says each and every single person has their own unique ability. Okay, so you as a private practice owner need to identify what is your unique ability. Is it treating patients, which is understandable, which is excellent? Is it managing people? Is it leading and motivating people? Now, if it's not part of your makeup, your emotional makeup to lead and to motivate other individuals, that's okay. You don't have to try and become something you're not. Focus on your unique ability. Find someone, whether it's a front desk manager, whether it's an office manager, it could even be your billing person. Heck, it could even be your spouse who has the ability to manage and motivate people. Someone in your clinic has to be able to manage, motivate, empower people, whether it's through meetings once a month, whether it's through just talking with them and saying, look, how can we function better as a clinic? The ability to lead from the front and motivate individuals so that they can become essentially become your biggest supporters, so that they can not only believe in your vision, but more importantly, enjoy coming to work every single day. That is the biggest missing link that I've seen in most practices that struggle to go from good to great. You know how it is when you have a staff member who is just phenomenal, who's like totally tuned in, who knows what needs to be done, whether it's front desk, whether it's a clinician, or whether it's the biller. It makes your life so much easier. And if you have that, that's awesome. More power to you. Focus on avoiding the other two mistakes, which are copying competitors and offering the same product or service. But more importantly, if that's something that's holding you back, make sure you either guide the staff member so that they can be the best version of themselves, or quite frankly, if the individual's not a good fit, move on. If necessary, hire someone else. So you owe it to yourself, because when you work with individuals that enjoy coming to work and enjoy working with you, you enjoy what you do, they enjoy what they do, it doesn't feel like work. And then the patients see that. But when you come to work with someone where things aren't the way it's supposed to be, it's extra pressure and extra strain on everybody. And I think you know that, because we've all had issues with team members where things were just not working. Could be your fault, could be their fault. Doesn't matter whose fault it is. When things don't work, things don't work. And then that affects your practice, that affects your business. And it's your responsibility as a private practice owner to avoid the mistake of ineffective leadership. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've benefited a lot from this video training. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.